This is for the name tag maker, and what it does, it creates a name tag like this that buttons through a t-shirt or another shirt or whatever. And so just click on the link and it'll take you to here. Click on customize and customize, and it'll bring you to this. And these things are printed face down. It's just because it has the bump on the back here where it buttons through the shirt. This is the button that goes, it's built into the name tag, and this is the one that goes on the inside of the shirt. And you press it kind of hard to make it stay on. They stay on pretty tight. Right up here, you can change the name to whatever you want. Let's change this one to Fred, and I'll hit generate. Um, One thing you want to do is you want to make sure that this part down here, this is the this is the base for it. Uh, this needs to be all one piece. If you see that it's not thick enough for all the letters to touch, then you can come down here. You can either change the spacing. 0.9 is a pretty good one. What that'll do is it'll kind of squeeze it together. Um, Even if the letters are touching inside here, that's okay. This is a 2-letter name tag, and these pieces here will fit inside of these grooves on this one. I'm looking at the bottom of it, so we're looking through the grid here. So some of the parameters on here, this is the name, this is the different fonts that you can use. I didn't add very many yet. Man, there's just so many fonts, I couldn't go through all of them. I just picked a few of them so I could get it to you. The font size, this is how many millimeters tall the, the name tag will be. I don't have any way to estimate how wide it is right now. So just tell it how tall you want it to be. A real short name, 30 is pretty good. With a really long name, you might want to lower this down to maybe 20 to 25. Um, some of these fonts are real thin, and so you might want to make them a little thicker. 0.5 is 0.5 of a millimeter thicker. If you'll watch up here, you'll see this get how much bigger it gets. Normally, you just leave that at 0. Um, and it's, you experiment around with it. The shirt thing here, this is how thick your shirt is. If you have a caliper, a t-shirt is about 0.4 millimeters thick. And so that's what we've got here. A dress shirt might be around 0.2 millimeters. And then like a hoodie, a little thicker material, might even be 0.8. You probably don't want to go over 0.8 with it. If you're trying to snap it and it snaps real hard, then increase this number and that'll make it snap on easier. And really all you have to do when you generate it, the only thing you'll have to print is just this circle here. This is the button part of it. So if you tell it it's 0.8, then just download the file, delete these two parts of it, and just print this part. The bottom thickness, yeah, don't worry about that. Wall thickness, we're not too worried about that. Wall thickness, though, you could increase that also, and that would make these walls thicker. So if you want to keep it spread out a little bit more, and you don't want to squeeze the letters together like we did up top there, you can make the walls thicker, and that'll make them touch also. The spacing here, this is also another thing you can use to spread them out or whatever. The default on this one is 1. Number of facets, just how clean it is, and really 100 is a pretty good number for it. And so what we'll do is we'll just set it like we want it, hit generate, click download, and you can either do the 3MF or the STL. I've got mine where it opens either one of them by default. So for now, let's just do the 3MF file. It makes it super easy. So we'll download this, and it's a name tag button 3MF. And so we'll hit save. It's going to tell me it already exists. You want to replace it? Yep. And so now we'll go into the folder that has was it? Okay, name tag button. I double clicked on it. It's opening up in Bamboo Studio. All right, by default, this thing is uh, it's all on one plate and it's all the same color. So the first thing we want to do is add another color to it. Make sure you have your printer selected and have have it selected over here also. So I've got two colors here. I added the extra color by hitting the plus, and so I want to choose the two different colors. Let's say on the first one I want it to be PLA, and on the second one I'll choose also PLA. Really doing it like this, it doesn't matter. You can mix and match different types of filament. Will be all right. So I'm going to select the model and I want to split it into objects by pressing the O up here. And what this does is it just makes it to where I can move individual pieces. And so on the part with the button, I want to keep these together. And so I'll select both of these pieces. I'll select one of them. I'll hold Control on the keyboard and click the other one. And that selects both of them. Or you can hold the Shift key and then just drag a square across both of them. And we'll right click and merge. And what that does, that puts these together. And so I want to keep this part and this part apart. And so on this one, we'll notice we got two different parts here. So I'll select the first part, I'll hold Control, and I'll click the second part. They're both together. So I'll right click and merge. Oops. Oop. Come on. Okay, Control, right click, and merge. Okay, so now these are the same part, these are the same part. I want the background to be my black, and then I want this part to be green. And so I chose green filament from my AMS filaments here. I chose this green silk, and it's number 2 now. So since this is selected, I can press 2 on my keyboard, and what that'll do is it will change this part to color 2. This is color 1. This is color 2. So if I wanted to, I could click 2 or 1 and, switch back and forth between them. And so this is kind of what it'll look like. These letters here, these will snap into these. And then once it's all printed, then we'll take this button, we'll snap it onto the back of this through the t-shirt, and that holds it into place. And it actually holds really well. So now let's slice the plate, and it actually, we got a 2-color print here, so we've got this thing. Let's fix that real quick. We don't want to print it like a normal 2-color print. I'm going to come to the settings here, and on the print sequence, I'm going to tell it by object. And what this does is it tells it to print this object first and then print this object. And that way it's not having to do all the color changes. It'll print this whole thing first and then print this thing. You'll notice these little outlines. If I get them too close, it's going to give me an error because it thinks the head will hit the other piece. So we need to make sure those little outlines that were on here are separated. That way the two things won't touch, the head won't hit. And so it can print this whole part and then print this whole part. And it's only one color change through the whole print. And so let's slice the plate. This one will take about, here, actually, let's get up here. I hate that it keeps changing this on me, but looks like it'll take 23 minutes to print the whole thing. And once it's finished, then we can take these letters and we can just click them into these. With the default setting on it, these things are so tight that it'll probably just hold. You won't even have to glue the things. Anyway, that's it. I've already got this too long, so